And who are we talking to tonight?
Quesha.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Quesha. I am 30 years old. I graduated from East St. Louis Senior High School in 2013. I have two 7-year-old twin girls. They're identical. I have 3 sisters. I have a mother that's living. I have a father that's living. I have a deceased daughter. And I took up culinary arts in high school. And I was looking to be a hairstylist.
What kind of household did you grow up in?
I grew up in a home with my 3 sisters.
Were your mom and dad present?
Yes, they were.
What did your mom and dad teach you growing up?
They always taught me if I ain't got nothing nice to say to nobody, don't say it at all.
What schools did you go to growing up?
Oh, I graduated from East St. Louis Senior High School. I went to Latimer and Centerville as I was growing up, and my middle school would be Clark.
What do you remember about growing up in East St. Louis as a young lady?
What I remember about growing up in East St. Louis was it was always a champion state.
What kind of relationship do you have with your sisters?
We argue a lot, but we love each other.
Where did life take you after you graduated from high school?
Well, life took me to college after I graduated from high school, but I dropped out of college hanging with some friends, ended up, hanging with the wrong people and doing wrong things, so I dropped out.
What college were you attending? And what were you majoring in? What?
I was majoring in engineering training.
What college were you going to?
I was going to Armstrong North.
How long was you in college before you left college?
6 months.
What did your family say about you leaving college? Were they disappointed or?
Yeah, they were highly disappointed.
What did you tell them?
That I dropped out.
And then when you dropped out of college, then what happened with your life?
It was like a ball of hair.
Meaning?
Meaning that it's stringy. I'm trying to put it together.
What jobs did you have once you left college?
I worked at telephone customer service at Walmart, answering the phones at Walmart. I was at McDonald's. I was at Burger King. I was at Rally's. Bunch of fast food places except for Walmart.
Are you currently working?
No. Sorry.
When was the last time you had a job? Or how long has it been since you've had a job?
I work at home care. I work for my sister. She's in a wheelchair.
So that's what you're doing now?
Uh-huh. Home care.
How long have you been doing home care?
For like a year and a half.
How do you like that?
Well, I love my sister, so I love it.
Never been married?
No.
Twin girls?
Yeah.
Deceased child?
Yeah.
Have you ever left East St. Louis or have you stayed there your whole life?
I went to Minnesota for a couple of years back in 2018. Got back in 20.
What was your experience like in Minnesota?
Cold, very cold.
What is the difference between Minnesota and East St. Louis? Besides the weather.
Besides the weather, the people are more like people, and the people out here are just so much about themselves, and the people out there will show you and help you. People out here just bring you and leave you.
What were you doing in Minnesota?
I was working at Club Food.
What's that?
It's a grocery store.
Why did you leave Minnesota to come back?
Because my granny got sick. She got sick and her husband ended up passing.
Your granddad? Or was that your granddad, your grandmother's husband?
Yeah, my grandmother's husband.
Then where did life take you after? When grandmama got sick and you have to come back, then what happened? Once you came back to East St. Louis or whatever.
I ended up being homeless.
What happened with that? Like, what caused that?
Well, my mama went out of town. I didn't want to go to Springfield. I ended up staying with my daddy, and he ended up kicking me out.
You and your dad don't get along.
No.
What was the reason he kicked you out? Oh,
Because
no.
I don't have nothing to give him every time I walk in the door.
So he wants you kind of to pay your way.
Yeah.
And what did you say to that?
Well, I don't have it every time I walk in the door.
And he didn't understand that.
No.
When was the last time you spoke with your dad?
Probably like a couple weeks ago. Almost close to a month.
So being that you've never been married, do you think that your relationship with your dad has affected your relationships with other guys?
Yeah.
In what ways?
Communication.
If you had to go back in time knowing what you know today, and you can go and talk to a young Miss Quesha, knowing what you know today, what would you tell her?
East St. Louis is not the place to be. Maybe try another state.
What state would she try?
Probably Atlanta or Minnesota.
Do you ever plan on leaving again? Yeah. And what's the plan with that?
Probably the end of this month, I'll be going to Springfield with my mother.
What's the plan when you get to Springfield?
She's going to help me get on housing and find me an apartment and help me with jobbing.
What do you want to do? Like, what would be an ideal job for you?
Going back to college.
I'm saying, but to study what?
Engineering.
So you want to be an engineer?
Yeah.
So what's stopping you?
Me in the way of myself.
When did you realize that?
Probably months ago.
So you got 6 months into your engineering degree. How long does it take?
Almost 3 years.
So you need 3 more years to get your degree.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then once you get the degree, because we're going to speak that into existence, then what would be the next step?
Me driving a train, or,
Oh, you want to do locomotive type work. What made you get off into that?
Movies.
What's the movie that you saw that motivated
Unstoppable, with Denzel Washington in it.
So you like watching movies?
Yeah.
So if you had any advice, or not if, but what kind of advice would you give a young lady who's thinking about walking in the same footstep that you've walked in on these streets and thinking she's going to come out on these streets and it's going to be just,
Well, it's not okay. You should think before you do anything, because it's not where you want to be.
How do you stay safe out here?
When I get ready to go, like after we're done, I go to my cousin's house by the park.
But I'm saying, like, dealing with the street stuff, how do you remain?
I just stay by myself. I don't really hang with too many people. I don't really, do too many things to too many people. I just be by myself. Myself is who I worry about the most.
And how long do you see yourself doing this out here?
Not long. Not long at all. Probably to the end of this month.
So to the end of this month, you'll be out here, but after this month, you're gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
We appreciate you taking time out with us, Ms. Quesha. And if there's anything you want to leave us on the closeout, advice, knowledge, wisdom, anything from your perspective, now's the time you can leave it.
I appreciate you guys taking the time out to see where my head was in the state of East St. Louis, and I appreciate the giving and the caring. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Quesha.
You're welcome.